what colonization kind of teaches us, that we gotta win. I must conquer that country. You must not conquer that country. This is my land. Well, how can you even own land? How can you even own water? How do you even draw boundaries? Like, where did this idea, this weird way of thinking came about? But that to me, it's like, okay, well, it's all built in our mindsets, right? We don't question this throughout our education. I didn't. And I know for a fact that many people here don't. About the Indigenous issues, we don't even learn about that in our early childhood education system. So it's more about, when we get to a graduate level, we start questioning, well, no. How about we start questioning right in the beginning of our life career? Rowan and Kai should be asking that question in their early ages right away. Whose land do I live in? Why? What injustices were done to them to get this land and make this beautiful British Columbia, beautiful Canada? Why are we not questioning any of that? So I think, to me, it came in really late in my career when I did that internship with this community, and I was like, oh Jesus, like there's so much happening and so much I don't know. And as I did more work, as I learned more about the Indigenous people of this country, I started thinking, this phenomena has existed and traveled worldwide. It has not seen the races. It has not seen who's rich or who's poor. It just spread like wildfire across the globe. In addition to the powers of I'd say globalization, powers of I'd say industrialization, powers of I'd say urbanization. Those are forces that have kind of flourished at the same time, and this has only been 200-300 years that we've seen this massive shift towards the adverse impacts of all these different forces, and where it's leading us all to is the part that's most concerning to me, which is essentially, we're living under this crisis, climate change, right? Sometimes it's really hot in the month of June, and then all of a sudden it's now cold. Like, Jesus, what's happening? And these are the impacts that these forces have really created that have gone out of our control, really. And because we are bred in that certain way to think, that that's the right way, we are not taking a step back to really reflect. It might be, I say, majority of us out there, and I'm not going to discount the people who do think about it, obviously not, but there's a majority of people who don't really care, So it's a missing link in the world that we live in, and I worry because I have 2 young kids now. I want them to have the same future, at least similar future, if not the same as I did, right? I don't want them to suffer because of the actions or inactions of the generations before them. So to me, that has become the mission for my practice. And that's what I'm working towards right now is, how do we work with communities that have suffered in the past, communities that are vulnerable to those forces that have created the deficiencies in terms of people, time, money, and technology. How do we work with them as allies, and create a world that is a little bit better, for my children. And that may be a selfish thing to say, but I don't think it is. It's a selfless thing to do when I think about others, right? So that's my motivation. That's what I'm working towards, and getting out of my bed every day to just do that. For Kai and Rowan, because that is what the real meaning of life is. How do you make the world a bit better for the generations to come? And to me, that key exists very much with Indigenous peoples because, well, guess what? They've lived in their environments, on their lands with their resources in a very sustainable way for thousands and thousands of years. So they know it better how to survive than people who've come in the last 200-300 years telling us that, oh, hey, this is the right way of living. No, it's not. You messed it up. You really messed it up. So how do we go back to that? How do we go back to those? And this is not to say that we need to go back to the old ways of living without technology, without internet. No, that's not what I'm saying here. It's more about how do we embrace the best of all worlds and make life even better for our children, grandchildren, and their children, and so forth. So that's what I do. That's what I wake up to do every morning. Make the world a bit better by chipping away at it for my kids.